Tony Dungy from Football Night in America joins us. Tony, if you're going to pick out the team or teams that you say they're going to the Super Bowl, you got them?
Well, I think it's starting to become pretty clear. Seattle is on a run. They're playing great defense. Russell Wilson has just been fantastic the last couple of weeks, and I think the best chance they have to lose is this week at St. Louis. I don't think it's going to happen. St. Louis going there, but I think once they get rested up, if they win this game and play with a bye week and 2 home games in the playoffs, I think they win in the NFC. And the AFC, I think it's going to be the same way. I do not see anyone going into New England and beat them. So you'd have to say right now it's going to shape up as a Seattle-New England Super Bowl.
Who would you give the MVP to right now?
You know what? We were talking about this, Dan, and I have a different take on things. Seattle looked like an average team in the middle of the year. Bobby Wagner came back, and he's ignited that defense, and they're playing great football now. New England looked like a very average team early on when Rob Gronkowski was on a pitch count, and since he's played, they've looked like the best in the AFC. So I would say you look at those two guys and what they've done for their team, I'd vote for one of those two guys as the most valuable player, and probably with DeMarco Murray third.
Why is Tony Romo playing so well?
He is playing well because he doesn't have to do everything now. He's got a very good offensive line. They're running the ball. They aren't getting behind in games. And he doesn't feel like he's got to make every play to win it. Defensively, they're getting turnovers. They're getting the takeaways. And he's just playing the game and not feeling that pressure of having to make every single play. He's making his reads. He's going to the right people. And he's playing great football. But it starts with that running game, the defense and the offensive line. He's got a wonderful team around him right now, and that's allowing him to do what he does.
What do you think's happening with the Jim Harbaugh situation?
I think something is going on. When you hear all the rumors of, hey, this is going to be done quickly right after the season, I think all the parties kind of know what's in place. I don't know where it is, whether it's University of Michigan, whether it's another team, but you don't have a coach that's taking you 3 championship games and then say all of this is going to be resolved very quickly unless things are in motion already.
But when you say, and I know Jay Glazer had this report that it could happen within 24, 48 hours, I guess, when the season's over. Does that mean it's more likely that he would be quitting to go to Michigan or that he would be traded to another team?
I think if it happens within 48 hours, it's more likely to go to Michigan because I don't know that it could happen that fast in the NFL with all the things that have to take place. As Mike Florio said on our show last night, complying with the Rooney Rule, all of those things, getting the trade to happen, I don't see how that could happen in 48 hours right after the season.
How did this happen to the Saints?
I'm not really sure what has happened to their offense. They've never been a great defensive team, but their offense has always been able to carry them. They've made the big plays, and we're just not used to seeing Drew Brees struggle in the big situations. When they get the ball and they're down 6, we're used to seeing them come through and win it. So I'm not sure what has happened. Jimmy Graham's injury, I'm sure, has had something to do with it. They had the number 1 draft choice, Cooks, who was playing well, and they lost him. But it's more than injuries. They just don't seem to be firing on all cylinders. He's
Tony Dungy from Football Night in America joining us, Dan Patrick Show. You think there's something wrong with Peyton Manning?
I don't really know. You look at it, and I got some questions from last week, and he didn't throw for 3 touchdowns and all that. He threw 20 passes, and he averaged almost 12 yards a pass, which is going to lead the league by a long ways if you do that. But the fact that he's throwing for 240 yards and 1 touchdown, people are not used to seeing that. I'm not sure if they're just trying to become more diversified, trying to run the ball so they'll be ready to go on the road in the postseason if they have to. I think that's what it is. And we'll see. When they need it, they're on the road tonight. I think they're going to need some big throws. I think this tonight will tell you if there's something wrong with Peyton Manning or not.
We're seeing these wide receivers come in. We've never had a rookie class of wide receivers, and normally you don't take a receiver in the first round because it's sort of hit or miss. These guys have all been impactful here, and we've seen almost this blueprint of 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", these physical wide receivers. Why are we seeing this now? And where are we going with the wide receiver position?
Oh, well, I think you are, Dan, going into much more of a passing game now. And the way that practices are run, off-season programs now, practicing with no pads, these big athletic wide receivers can come in and get a ton of work, where if you're a running back, you don't get that kind of work in the off-season. So it's easier now to say, you know what, I'm going to take a Mike Evans, and I'm going to get him going and build around him much easier than a rookie running back now. And, you know, you are getting these guys who are athletic, but I think the practice schedule allows them to have a quicker impact than maybe the running backs do.
Who's the best wide receiver, rookie wide receiver?
The best rookie wide receiver, you know, we just haven't seen as much of Odell Beckham as anybody else, but what he's done in the last 2 months has been incredible. I get to see Mike Evans all the time because I live down there in Tampa. I've watched him practice. You know, if Mike Evans, you put him maybe with Eli Manning or you know, one of these other quarterbacks, gosh, I'm not sure he wouldn't do a lot of the same things. But Beckham's been spectacular, no question.
Safe travels, Tone. I'll see you next weekend.
All right. Looking forward to it. The boys say hi. They want to come out. We'll see if we can get them out to the show next week.
All right. Tell Jordan and Justin I said happy holidays.
All right. The clinic says happy holidays.
Thank you, Tony. He had his boys in the hallway. He's got 2 of them. And Justin's out there playing. He's got a baseball helmet on, and he's got his gloves on, and he'll play football with anybody who comes into the hallway at NBC. And then his other son, Jordan, they're there the whole night. You can just hear him up and down the hallway playing. And it's just, you walk out into the hallway, and Justin expects you to throw the football to him and does all of his celebrations. He's priceless, though. He's fun.